What's up, family? So, heads up, there's work being done. So, you're going to hear drilling and hammering and all of the things. So, but today I wanted to get into some Tao, right? Lessons with the Tao. So, let's see what comes up. As we know, the Tao, we got tough love. Tough love came out in the read yesterday, and Tao be giving that tough love. You know what I'm saying? The Tao don't be playing. And it be so monotone with the message. If that's the right word. Hopefully, you guys, you can hear me over the drilling and everything. And you know, we're going to get one card, and then we're going to, address the bottom of the deck. But other than that, we don't have any room for nothing else because these messages be forever long. Okay? So, bottom of the deck, we have the marrying maiden. But this card is a little weird. Like, is she chained down? That doesn't make a marriage look, something anyone wants to do. But I have been getting that feeling of like the twin flame energy coming through. Okay. So my observations were in line. 54 is the number. It says a compromising situation, subordination, succumbing to seduction, manipulation, low self-esteem. So that's the bottom of the deck energy. Let's go ahead and read that and see what the message is surrounding that. The marrying maiden. Okay. It says waking up to the realization that there is a fatal flaw in what you thought was going to be a perfect situation can be quite a shock. The disturbing news that the marrying maiden brings is about inequality, subordination, and somehow unconsciously allowing oneself to be put into an inferior position in relation to others. And we kind of spoke about this in the last read, and that we're not doing that no more. So that's possibly why this energy is the bottom of the deck. The number is 54, which is a 9, which is the number of completion. I feel like this is energy that we are done with, you know what I'm saying? But it is still good to get, insight on it so that we don't succumb to that energy again, which I doubt that we will. But I feel like this is going to bring a little bit more insight and understanding of why we are releasing it. We may not have noticed all of the ways it affected us, how it made us perhaps look to people outside of us. And I feel like it speaks directly to this Lilith statue that we have here. Lilith ain't no married maiden. Lilith ain't that energy that's meant to be that subordination. Fuck no. Low self-esteem. Fuck no. Inferior. Fuck no. She's not doing that. Okay? So It says this might have arisen out of your desire for a certain position, or from failing to respect yourself and your own capabilities to the extent that you have compromised your own truth. Perhaps you have wanted to believe things about yourself that deep in your heart you knew were not true. Oh my goodness, Lilith, girl. Lilith, you are doing the most today. But you are speaking. You said, I'm up here on this camera. Y'all finna hear me. And okay, she is talking cash money shit to us. And like, bitch, no, that's not it. And you may be a woman here that is kind of maybe afraid of commitment in a way, because you don't want to feel locked down, chained down. Like at times you want that, and then at times you don't, But anyway, you want to believe things about yourself that deep in your heart you knew were not true, and have allowed yourself to be manipulated through flattery and unrealistic promises. Okay? We've been programmed since day one as little girls to want marriage, to want that domestic life. And for a lot of us, it hasn't really been that tantalizing of a thought, Like I was literally just watching a video of a young lady that, she's documenting and vlogging her journey of being, a single woman, just living her life and facing her fears of being by herself and just living alone, going on this journey of life, facing herself. And it's so beautiful. I literally paused it to do this, and then I'm gonna go back to it once. I think I got halfway through, and she was apartment searching. First, she was searching for apartments in New York. That didn't really pan out the way she wanted, and she literally, at the whim, said, "Okay, well, how about Colorado?" And that's what you can do when you're not tied down to people or a person or a relationship or whatever. She's like, "How about Colorado?" And a week later, she was flying out to Colorado to view 10 different apartments. And they all were, she's gotten through like 5 already. And she of course showed the apartments and stuff, and they were really beautiful in New York, but they were just as beautiful with much better views. Like, you got the mountains, floor to ceiling windows, and you got the city, but the mixture of nature, like best of both worlds. And then she has a company that she wants to start. And she was like, "I think I was guided here for a reason. Like, the cafes here stay open to 12. There's no places where cafes stay open to 12. I feel like this is another part of the reason why I was guided here." And when you're not tied down like that, you have the freedom to do that. You don't have to consult with someone else to make, such decisions. But anyway, it says dealing with the feeling of having been used, or understanding that you have compromised what is truly important to you, requires absolute honesty with yourself. Whatever the circumstances might have been in the beginning of the present cycle, finding out that you've become a pawn in someone else's game is such a rude awakening that it's impossible to ignore or brush it aside. One of the most painful aspects of facing the truth is that you risk finding out that you have sold yourself short by entering into agreements that in no way reflect what you really want or need. And it seems either difficult or impossible now to get out of them. And I feel like this is what Spirit is, bringing to our attention. Either you may be in it right now, or to help prevent you from falling into a situation like this. If this is the case, it is crucial to reflect unemotionally on how you have cooperated in the seduction of what was motivating your consent. It means asking some pretty straightforward questions of yourself. Have you ignored the whisperings of your own intuitive feelings in favor of the desires of the mind for prestige or position, or because you just want it to be liked? If so, then you have to take responsibility, at least in part, for how your own desires have contributed to the current situation. And I feel like we addressed this in the previous read in so many ways in regards to the integrity of the level that you're on. We spoke about, like, are you choosing people in your life that represents the integrity of the level that you're on mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and releasing people who are not there. It says succumbing to seduction means that you have given more importance to the superficial and the imagined, that potential, right? That imagined, than you have given to the deep and the real. And we spoke about this in regards to certain people that we need to release. It's like they're a great person, but are they on the same level as I am spiritually? Is this someone that I can grow with, that we can grow together, that can teach me? Or is there certain things that this person still needs to learn? And frankly, you just don't have the time or energy to wait until they get there. You have a life purpose and a soul mission that you need to start working on. You spent enough time doing the work, working on yourself. You don't need to spend time trying to fix someone, bring someone up to the level that you need them to be in order for you guys to finally get on an equal playing field so you can grow together. Like, no. It says this choice almost always creates a subtle wound in the being that may not immediately be noticeable. And that is exactly what the card that says, if you're not getting what you want emotionally or mentally from a situation, that relationship can kind of be considered abuse. Like, you're abusing yourself, you're denying yourself something that you know you need, something that you know this person does not have the bandwidth to give you. But staying in that situation can become abusive to you and your growth and your mentality. And so that's what this line for me is saying. The choice almost always create a subtle wound. It's a subtle wound that can grow and fester and become an infection and poison the whole body. That's way worse than abuse. That can eventually kill you. I mean, abuse can too. So I guess they both are the same. If you stay around long enough in either situation, they both could, result in a fatal ending. Inevitably, though, the injury will make itself felt. Whenever we have compromised our authenticity and truth, the first symptom is usually a feeling of emptiness within. Each of us at one time or another has been pulled off center by longings for love, security, or recognition. We live in a world that encourages and rewards cleverness and pretense, and pays homage to the latest trends and its hunger for the new. But to live in make-believe is to remain immature. And those who insist on living in a fantasy gradually lose touch with who they really are. The only way through the pain of being compromised is to allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel it and take responsibility for your part in it. the last read and said, what part did you play in this? In that card that was, is there integrity in everything you do? Or it says, what part did you play in it? Accountability. We literally spoke about this in the direct previous read. This is the first essential step towards release and a renewal of self-respect. The last card in that reading was self-awareness. So now we're going to go through the lines. As you recall, in the Tao, they use the I Ching method where, they have dashes and then straight lines, and each one of them each means something, especially in the position that they're in. I hadn't truly researched it and understand, but there's 3 lines on the top and then 3 lines on the bottom. So this here is a description of the lines in a way in regards to what we're discussing, and it usually starts with the bottom line and it goes through onto the top line. So the bottom line says, it is wise in any situation to be alert to what exactly it is you're getting yourself into before you sign your name on the dotted line. It makes sense in the overall scheme of things to put yourself at It might make sense in the overall scheme of things to put yourself at someone's disposal, but only if your inner sense tells you that you will truly benefit from the experience. Remember, a person who is really worthy of such trust will never exploit you and will use every opportunity to encourage you to continue to grow and mature to the point that you can stand on your own. Wow, I literally had a conversation speaking of this in regards to spirituality and different traditions, and like if your spiritual leader isn't trying to help you to grow or don't encourage you to grow and mature to the point where you can stand on your own, run. If you have a spiritual teacher or someone that is over you and constantly wants you to come to them when every time you have an issue or every time you have a problem, they're trying to make you codependent on them, and they're just energy vampires in disguise, wolf in sheep clothing. They want to keep you captive so they can drain your energy, pretty much. Okay, so line 2. I think there was something else I wanted to say on this, but yeah, if you are with a person that don't encourage you, that you constantly have to ask, like they don't voluntarily just tell you how beautiful you are, or oh wow, you did such a great job, or you hadn't done this in a while, I think it's time for you to do that, you know what I'm saying, so you can stay clear and on track. If they're not telling you the truth about yourself and where you can improve, then you may need to separate yourself from said person, because they're not adding to you to help you grow. They're not giving you the tough love when you need the tough love. We need balance. We need the good and the bad. And if they're just, monotone or nonchalant, then that's stagnant. That's no fun. Anyway, line 2. It is helpful to remember that sorrow can be a turning point that shifts your focus towards respecting yourself. I'm going to read that again. It is helpful to remember that sorrow can be a turning point that shifts your focus towards respecting yourself, rather than hoping that respect will be given to you by others. It takes courage to follow your own path, especially when it flies in the face of convention. Nevertheless, anything short of walking that path is a denial of your right to grow into your own individual uniqueness. Okay? Anything short of walking that path, again, if you're in a relationship where you're not being fed emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you are denying yourself by staying in that situation. You're denying yourself the right to grow into your own individual path. You're denying yourself the nurture that you need in order to grow into your own individual uniqueness. Line 3. Peace of mind can only really ever be realized when you are able to fulfill the potential you came into the world to express. Period. You have a soul mission, a life purpose. You're not going to have peace of mind unless you are on that journey. You know when things are off. You know when you're not getting what you need. You know when you're not allowing your heart to let go. The heart knows how to let go, but you have to give it permission to. You got to allow it. Peace of mind can only ever be realized when you are able to fulfill the potential you came into the world to express. A desire for things to be different from how they are is often an indication of how far you have strayed from that potential. Consult the inner map of your heart before you take another step. So I'm going to read that one line again. A desire for things to be different. A desire for things to be different from how they are is an indication of how far you've strayed from the potential that you came into the world to express. Consult the inner map of your heart before you take another step. Line 4. Making mistakes is inevitable. It is how we learn, grow stronger. Avoid feeding any negative habits that only serve to cover your wounded pride. Okay? We're not trying to cover up, pride, and we're not trying to preserve a specific image that is not authentic. We are embracing our authentic self. That means taking responsibility and accountability for the shortcomings, for being seduced into wasting your time in a situation that will ultimately, inevitably have to come to an end. Don't allow yourself to be seduced into wasting time or distractions. No more of that. Okay? Making mistakes is inevitable. Understand that you made a mistake and it's okay. You can pull yourself out. It's inevitable. It's how you learn and grow stronger. Avoid feeding any negative habits that only serve to cover your wounded pride, and don't be tempted to blame others for your present circumstances. If you don't know what to do next, the best thing to do is wait. Okay, line 5. It can be embarrassing to take responsibility for having been taken for a ride. It can be embarrassing. That's why a lot of people probably won't do it. But that was you standing out there on the highway with your thumb out, wasn't it? It can be embarrassing to take responsibility for having been taken for a ride, but wasn't you out there with your thumb out on the highway? That was you, wasn't it? Before we even got into the dial, didn't I tell you the dial don't give a fuck about your feelings? Didn't I tell you dial is going to bring you that tough love? It's not finna play with you? Okay. That was you, wasn't it? Oh, shady. The dial is shady. But you can't deny it. You can't deny the truth. It says the silver lining to the cloud that might be hanging over you now is that you've grown not only older but wiser because of the experience. And the dial gonna nurture you as well. They're gonna shade you, but they're gonna give you the answer. It's not that type of criticism where they don't give you a solution. The dial's gonna criticize you for sure, but it's gonna also give you a solution. So you can know that it's coming from a place of love when it comes to the Tao or anything in regards to oracles and readings and things like that. I know I felt the pop in there somewhere. Grown not only older but wiser because of the experience. Don't squander the lesson by carrying any residual resentment or embarrassment or defensiveness into the future. The top line. What is past is gone forever, and even if you could bring it back, it would not restore your sense of well-being in the here and now. No matter how great the temptation may be to act impulsively or seek quick fixes to your distress, it will only prolong the pain of dealing with the issues at hand because it's inevitable, right? If you've been keeping up a false front, it's time to let it fall. Only the real can encounter the reality, and the encounter is overdue. Only the real can encounter the reality, and the encounter is overdue. Shady. It's time for you to step into reality and come up out of that fantasy that you've created in your mind in regards to a noun, person, place, or thing. It's time for you to come out of the delusion of Cinderella. Okay. So the next card that we're clarifying now is decrease. Oh my gosh. The number is 41. Which reduces to a 5. Represents changes. And it says decline, cutting back, frugality, contraction, letting go, less is more, resourcefulness, a sacrifice. All right, so again, speaking about releasing nouns, again, it could be a person, place, or thing. But, okay, let's get into this tough love. Oh my gosh, Dow, can we ever, we get some good news sprinkled in every now and then, but usually the Dow is here to bring you back to reality. To slap that stupid grin off your face and say, deal in reality, young one. Okay, it says the Tao decreases and increases as it is needed, impersonally and on a grand scale. There are times when letting go seems devastating, the end of the world. However, it doesn't always have to be so, and it might help to remember that less is sometimes more. The whole of nature is ebb and flow. The tides, the seasons, the very breathing of all living creatures. We appreciate some aspects of nature's letting go. But we run into trouble when we see the same dynamic is at play in our own lives. This is that reality slap that the Marian Maiden was speaking about, I feel. But I don't feel as offended. I don't feel as defeated by the message, even though it may not be the best of decline or cutting back reality. Those isn't really associated with happy feelings or whatever. But again, it's the duality of the Tao, the balanced energy of the Tao. It's the peace of the Tao, the groundedness of the Tao. And the maturity of the Tao, the emotional intelligence of the Tao. It's all given a peace, though. Being at peace with the letting go, being at peace with the duality, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. And that's a very powerful place to be. And it's given powerful, tough love, but it's still love. And that may be some of the best love. You may be going through a tough situation, but there's still love there that makes you feel secure and confident, even when things doesn't look favorable or doesn't seem favorable. But let's keep going. The word decrease is generally equated with something bad. I literally just said that. And amongst other keywords here on the card. Diminishing returns, less money, less love, less influence, less security, and so on. But this one-sided perspective doesn't take into account the quality of decrease that is an essential part of the dynamic of growth. Hold on. But this one-sided perspective doesn't take into account the quality of decrease that is an essential part of the dynamic of growth. It is the part that curbs access, trims the fat, facilitates the restoration of balance, and brings us to our knees, where we must find the inner resources to grow into a fuller realization of our potential. And just kind of going back to the Marian maiden, it may seem like that may be how people see you since you're not married right now, that you're in the energy of decrease, and they may look at you like in the energy of decrease, but actually what you're doing in this time, in here in the past, what you've been doing is just putting in the work to really observe life and to, curve the access, to trim the fat. Like, you've been able to see things from a bigger perspective because you've been sitting in the cut, not really into the daily hustle or bustle of life where you can't really observe. You've been trimming the fat. You've been doing the things to help facilitate the restoration of balance within yourself, balance within that trauma of that young inner child and who you want to become. You are restoring that, you're creating that balance, and that you are integrating those energies in a balanced way, in which so many people don't get a chance to do that only up until their retirement ages. And even at that time, some of those ways of thinking are so ingrained in them that they aren't able to, bring those energies into union. So yes, some people may see you in the energy of decrease and this, that, and the third. Even sacrifices on this card and resourcefulness in this energy of decrease, you again are facilitating the restoration of balance. You're seeing, trimming the fat. You're really becoming very resourceful, whether people know it or not, And yes, you may have sacrificed those goals that people say you should be indulging in right now. You've sacrificed the approval of people because you hadn't reached, certain milestones is the word I was looking for. And you sacrificed yourself, you sacrificed your image in order to do those things. But it's for the fuller realization of our potential. I don't think I've gotten to that part yet. But back to, we're going to read that, start that sentence over. It says, it is the part that curbs access, trims the fat, facilitates the restoration of balance, and brings us to our knees, where we must find the inner resources. Then that's what we've been doing, finding our inner resources, right, to grow into a fuller realization of our potential. It says the message of decrease implies the need to cut back, to acknowledge the importance and the adequacy of the bare essentials. While it is a pleasure to accumulate and comfortable to have more than you really need, once the comfort zone has grown excessive, it can become burdensome. Getting too cozy creates stagnation and defeats the drive to get out and explore new territories. And we spoke about adventure and how there's going to be a lot of adventures and things coming in the months, days, and years to come. You're going to be experiencing a lot of new adventures. And in that case, resourcefulness is going to be very important. Just as too much good cooking can make you fat if you don't energetically work it off. Always having everything you need right at your fingertips can create complacency or downright laziness. Decrease marks the time for simplifying your life, and the very process of cutting back and paring things down to the essentials, whether it's on an emotional level and material possessions, or a sheer extravagance of pleasurable occasions, brings you right where you need to be in order to remain in sync with the changing climates of things. So again, this decrease could be on the emotional level and material possessions, or just the extravagance of pleasurable occasions, and maybe going out a lot. It could be maybe time for you to decrease and simplify your life in those areas. And so in regards to this read, and you take it in whatever area you need to do it, we may need to address a couple areas, the emotional and the material. That means that we need to start paring down some things to the essentials, right? Put aside any worries you might have about making what might appear to be sacrifices now, by remembering that periods of decrease can awaken your resourcefulness and sharpen your sensitivity to the world around you. It's an opportunity to find out that life can be just as rich and meaningful without the ribbons and bows, just as pleasurable without all the little indulgences you might have grown accustomed to. The lesson to be learned now is how to willingly cut back on activities or thought patterns that are draining your energy or otherwise taking more of your attention than you can afford. And that could be people too. If life proceeds to facilitate this process by forcing you to cut back even more, turn your attention to making the most of what you have rather than focusing on what is being taken away or what's happening for the guy next to you. It is an invitation to contemplate the bigger picture of your life and sort out the essentials from the non-essential. Sort out the essential from the non-essential. If you can learn to pass through times of decrease without fretting or trying to hold on, that's that detachment energy. You will come to understand the benefits that simpler times always bring. Like a good spring cleaning, letting go can freshen your outlook, create more room to grow, and unburden your heart. Bottom line, the balance of increase and decrease is at play in our lives every day on every level. Nothing really disappears. Even matter cannot be destroyed. It is only redistributed. Stay alert and keep the balance in your daily life now, whether you are in a position to give or receive. It is neither the time for excessive hoarding nor excessive generosity. The Tao is all about the middle ground, balance, right? Line 2. Once we've been stripped of whatever it is that must be taken away, we are vulnerable, laid bare. It may be that you need help or support from others, and there is no shame in this. Mysteriously, only after you've experienced the necessity of letting go, are you able to be empathetic to the plight of others and sincerely give from the heart. And the card did come out last night is laying the foundations for those to come. So you're going through this now in order to be able to lead others through this, to be able to tell them, I've been through that. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Trust the promptings of your heart and your intuition. Okay, line 3. Being confronted with the reality that it's time to withdraw from certain activities is directly related to how much of your identity you have invested in them. A time of decrease can seem to come upon us in an instant, like the bursting bubble of a stock market crash. The upset shifts everybody's focus and can bring out the best in people by forcing them to recognize and appreciate what they have. Line 4. Focus totally on the task at hand, whatever it is, even if it seems as useless as counting grains of rice. It is your choice ultimately how to view the prospect of making do with less. Far from being a cause from despair, it can be seen as a cleansing that streamlines your life from the inside out. It's your call. And honestly, I do feel a lot of liberation. I feel like there has been some energies and relationships that you have created boundaries with, and it was tough when going through that. But I feel like now, as we're reading these cards again, like I feel like both of these energies are things that we've all already been through, already made peace with, and now we're able to feel the liberation from it. We may still be called to, decrease even more, but I really do feel as though a lot of these steps we've already taken, and we know what areas that we can apply this even the more in, as in going into closets and decreasing, pulling out those things, going into drawers on shelves and in our cars and things like that, really getting streamlining all of that. When it comes to, like I said, we already done that in regards to relationships, whether it's familial, family, or romantic, platonic, or career, whatever. We have been doing that, and this is somewhat like a pat on the back from Spirit saying you are in alignment. Just continue to do the work, continue to do the things, because there is a purpose behind all of this, and you will be a very crucial part in the growth of humanity because of your testimony. Line 5. You might be wondering why everybody else seems to be suffering so much from the need to simplify and cut back, while you find the same circumstances to be refreshingly in tune with your own inner rhythms. Like, you are in tune with self, and you're going through this and laying the foundation so that you can help others to just release all of this unnecessary stress that they put on themselves, and to just really ground themselves in the energy of duality, what it is, and knowing that it's a choice. You can make it hard or you can make it easy by just flowing with life. Just flow with it, If so, celebrate your good fortune and do what you can to help others look at the rainbow rather than fixate on the clouds. It's basically what I just said, right? Top line. Decrease is a little like going on a diet. The earliest days can be a torture. Like, I literally was just saying that. Can be a torture, like when it comes to releasing certain people. I was saying that I feel like we've already done this, and it's been tough, but I feel like now as we're reading this is bringing that liberation for the work that we put in to set those boundaries, to decrease how much we are giving of ourselves to people who don't have the bandwidth to reciprocate that energy, whether emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever. In the earliest days, it can be a torture, overwhelmed by thoughts of all the goodies you can't have. Everyone else's, and all the goodies that overwhelmed by the thoughts of all the goodies you can't have. You know, you may be overwhelmed with all the goodies in regards to familiar relationships, where you see people who have great relationships with siblings, great relationships and respectful relationships with their mothers, and how those relationships can grow and mature. You may be seeing like, you know, the earliest days again may be tortured because you're overwhelmed with thoughts of all the goodies that you're not going to be able to experience. But I did see and listen to a reading the other day, and it was so beautiful about how Spirit is going to be bringing in the support you need. You may not be able or have not been able to experience that type of love and support from, you know, the bloodline. But there are about to be such loving and beautiful relationships that are about to be magnetized and attracted and brought into your sphere, brought into your aura, that you're not going to miss a step. It's going to come in and it's going to restore all the years that the locusts ate the fuck away. I need some shouting music. I need some shouting music to play right now, because baby, I want to cut a step. I want to be like, you know, in them old school churches and be hollering and running up and down the aisles. Okay? Hey, little let's try to speak in tongues. Okay, let's get back to reality, because we know the Tao already done told us, don't be getting too happy, don't be getting too sad. Find that balance. Maintain composure, little girl. Maintain composure. Overwhelmed with the thoughts of all the good as you can. Everyone else's plate looks mouth-watering, and your own seems so bland. Comparison is hellish. Nasty habit of the ego that continuously needs to evaluate how it's doing in relation to others. There's absolutely no point to the exercise, and indulging it will only make you feel bad. Okay, so it's interesting that the little circle on the top of each of these cards, the bottom row, is a pink color. So these two cards went together, I think, in a very good way. Very great messages. I mean, just straight to the point, blunt. That's what I love about the Tao. And man, I'm just feeling such a great, beautiful energy in my sacral chakra. Now I'm looking for my tuning forks, because I want to do some sacral chakra tuning, because that's where I am feeling the energy. Where's the other little part? Here we go. No, that's not it. Oh, but this is giving. Do I want to do? I think I do. Let's get into some I think I'll do the sacral chakra tuning, and then we'll get into some. I want to do some runes. We'll do a rune reading once we wrap this up. I just need to find my runes. What little bag did I put them in? They gotta be, you know, right here. Yep, here they go. In this white little bag. Okay, but baby, this was perfect. Like I told you, I was feeling the energy in my sacral chakra, and as soon as I hit this tuning fork, it dowed that sacral chakra, helped it to calm down and to balance. It's still, you know, a surge of energy, that I'm going to allow it to flow down into my root chakra and up through the other chakras to bring healing to the other chakras, bringing connection to the other chakras. I'm going to put this on, feel the vibration on my sacral chakra. Okay. Send these vibrations into your sacral chakra to balance it out, to imagine vibrant orange light blasting into the sacral chakra, removing any blockages, removing the blockages of guilt or shame, allowing yourself to be grounded. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. There's another little, I'm not going to worry about that right now though. Okay. All right, family. Well, I hope that helped in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Y'all see how a chick done got very demure and cutesy after that. I really hate to use those words. Did not use it while it was just the rave to say and to do. But now I want to say that mess. But y'all see how the energy was really calmed down? I see it. I feel it. But anyway, family, I hope they helped in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I love you all. And until next time, peace.